ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
A grisly discovery in broad daylight. Hikers stumble onto a body. Now investigators are working into the night trying to solve a murder case near the Buena Vista Lagoon. Two people found the body of a woman in her 60s on the Hosp Grove Trail near Monroe Street this morning. It's a commonly used area and not where neighbors expected to see a crime scene.
My kids and I, we both hike down there, ride our bikes. You know, it's a cool little spot to hang out with. And like I said, typically quiet joggers and bikers, and that's about it.
Police say the unidentified woman appeared to have a head injury. The medical examiner will determine the exact cause of death. Businesses are broken, barely hanging on. And tonight, owners are heartbroken after a judge denied their request to stay open inside. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Under the most restrictive tier, restaurants and gyms are only allowed to operate outside. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura has more on the reaction from businesses who watched the legal fight unfold.
Businesses across San Diego County were watching how this court battle turned out as its effects go beyond the 4 businesses involved in the lawsuit. Restaurants and gyms have been forced to close their indoor operations due to the Purple Tier's COVID-19 related restrictions. 4 businesses filed this lawsuit against the state and county on behalf of all restaurants and gyms, hoping a judge would grant a temporary restraining order allowing them to reopen. The judge denied that request Monday, writing in part, "The impact on public health of dismantling a portion of the state's COVID-19 response designed to reduce community spread outweighs the economic harm to plaintiffs, at least pending further examination of these issues in any upcoming hearing on preliminary injunction." Cowboy Star Restaurant and Butcher Shop, Home and Away Encinitas, Fit Athletic Club, and Barry Public CrossFit were the businesses involved in the lawsuit. On Friday, their attorney argued that the industries are not responsible for the large increase in COVID-19 cases. On Monday, Cowboy Star released a statement that said in part, "Our entire Cowboy Star family is heartbroken. We believe that we had science and data on our side. We also believe in our county health director, Dr. Wooten. We trusted her judgment on what is actually happening here in San Diego. Restaurants and gyms are not the problem, and we are being unfairly punished."
Would have meant that we would have been able, hopefully, to reopen our indoors at 25%.
Jeff Rossman spoke to us over the phone. While he's not part of the lawsuit, he says it could have helped. He owns 2 restaurants, including Terra American Bistro in East Rolando. With indoor dining closed, they've relied on their outdoor area and takeout. He was hoping the law would be on their side.
I mean, I was hoping that it was going to go the other way to help all of us. It's been so hard on all of us restaurateurs and all of our team members. Hey, you're hired again, you're fired again, you're laid off again, you're on unemployment again. It's been so hard.
Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
Our daily COVID cases are back above 1,000. The county reported 1,167 new cases today, bringing our total to over 72,000. There were no new deaths, which is typical for a Monday. That total remains at 968.
The county may offer financial help to businesses impacted by the Purple Tier closures. Supervisor Greg Cox and Nathan Fletcher are proposing the county provide $20 million in relief to restaurants, gyms, and other businesses that operate indoors. The full board will consider that proposal on Wednesday, and if passed, the county will start accepting applications for those funds.
We want everybody to get the vaccine, but there has to be some way to prioritize how we're going to give these out.
A new path for hope, but for whom and when? Tonight, we're learning more about the state's plan to distribute the COVID-19 vaccines once they are approved by the FDA. The state is waiting on 3 companies reporting promising results. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo explains what we know, how it will work, and how it will go out.
The governor says it's been working on a distribution plan for months, using its experience with mass distribution of other annual vaccines like the flu as a guide. The governor's plan for distributing the COVID-19 vaccines once they are ready puts healthcare workers at the top of the list. In phase 1, the vaccine will also go to people in nursing or assisted living facilities and first responders.
When you have millions of vaccines, it sounds like a lot, but when you have to divide those all across the country, the actual number that each medical center might get can be quite small.
Dr. Michelle Ritter is an infectious disease specialist at UC San Diego Medical Center and the director of the COVID-19 clinic. Governor Newsom also explained that 3 committees are currently looking at the data presented by the drug makers, confirming the vaccines are safe. Dr. Ritter says it's important to trust the science.
We're still getting the same information that we normally would from a trial that lasted much longer. It's just in a much shorter period.
Monday, AstraZeneca reported its vaccine is up to 90% effective. On Friday, Moderna and Pfizer both applied for emergency FDA authorization after reporting that their trials showed their vaccines to be 95 and 90% effective. Pfizer's vaccine will require being stored in extremely cold temperatures that could require things like dry ice, while Moderna's will require freezing that can be done in a traditional freezer.
The fact that certain vaccines may be given in situations or in facilities where they have the freezer capacity to freeze those vaccines, and maybe places that don't have the freezers, they'll send the ones that don't need to be frozen there.
Newsom says further phases of distribution will still take more time, with mass vaccination still months away. With the light at the end of the tunnel, Dr. Ritter says it's important to remember all health guidelines.
I think this is the time that is most crucial. This is the time to know there is an end in sight, perhaps. Let's just try to keep strong near the end here, because otherwise we could end up in real trouble.
Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
And a team of researchers has created a tool to assess the risk of being around someone with COVID while attending these holiday gatherings. They've launched this interactive map using real-time data to show the risk. It's called the COVID-19 Event Risk Assessment Planning Tool. The data it uses comes from the state and county levels and is updated daily.
What we do is take the recent last 10 days of new cases, use that as essentially a proxy for how much potential circulating spread there is, but account for under ascertainment of cases. The fact that for every documented case, there are many more actual cases.
The researchers note that their tool only looks at the risk of how many people may already be infected at a gathering. It does not estimate the risk of transmission. The tool can break information down by county, state, and even give global risk estimates. To learn more about it, go to our website, 10news.com.
The U.S. is now averaging 167,000 new COVID cases every day. And as Thanksgiving approaches, more than 1 million people passed through TSA checkpoints yesterday. More than 3 million are expected this weekend. Even so, doctors and state leaders continue to plead with Americans to stay home and not travel.
Our actions now will determine the fate of many.
These are dangerous times that we're in.
Hospitalizations across the country have also hit record highs 14 days in a row.
The federal agency charged with kickstarting the presidential transition is now finally allowing President-elect Joe Biden's incoming team to formally move forward. As ABC's Faith Abube reports, the president says the move came with his recommendation.
More than $6 million in taxpayer money now available to President-elect Joe Biden to begin his formal transition into the White House. And with that, access to classified briefings from federal agencies. Critical information the Biden transition team has pleaded with President Trump's administration to provide since Biden became president-elect more than 2 weeks ago. The General Services Administration's determination coming late, putting the Biden team behind 20 days compared to a typical transition.
My concern is that we've seen a daily assault on democracy under this administration, which has tarnished our own ability to lead.
Monday, Biden naming Tony Blinken, a career foreign policy official, his Secretary of State. He joins several historic appointments on Biden's national security and foreign policy team. Former Fed Chair Janet Yellen expected to be named the first female Treasury Secretary. The president-elect also tapping the first Latino to serve as Department of Homeland Security Secretary and first woman to be Director of National Intelligence. Retired Foreign Service diplomat Linda Thomas Greenfield named UN Ambassador, while another Obama administration official, John Kerry, joins the team as climate czar.
So do you expect Republicans to put up any significant roadblocks to your nominations?
Are you kidding me?
There's been some damage done that is going to take some time to dig ourselves out of. But there's no doubt that Joe's got the right people to do it.
Meanwhile, President Trump asking for a third count of the ballots in Georgia, though Michigan certifying its votes today effectively shuts down Trump's efforts to overturn the election.
The president's legal team has been a national embarrassment.
In court, judge after judge, including one in Pennsylvania this weekend, tossing out the Trump campaign's allegation for lacking proof of rampant corruption. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
We have some breaking news out of the Logan Heights area. Traffic is shut down at 26th and Commercial after a pedestrian was hit in a hit-and-run crash. This happened earlier tonight around 10. The San Diego police tell us a person was hit and then dragged for about a block. No word yet on the extent of that person's injuries. There is no description of the car involved in the crash.